and anything that comes with your career, essentially.
So, yep, I got the rod again. I got the big expensive book. I got my chapbooks.
The chapbooks never left.
He left me some charcoal.
You were using the chapbooks as like umbrellas from the rain.
I stacked them on my body like armor plates.
There you go. Just tie it around like a Warhammer 40k hero.
Well, I'm far less of a Warhammer 40k hero now, as I'm lacking my armor plating over my natural armor plating.
Right.
I feel so naked now.
And if I was a mean GM, and if we hadn't spent pretty much this entire session in combat, I definitely would have ambushed you guys on your way to Eloge. What we'll do instead is say that it takes you kind of an extraordinary amount of time because you're staying off of the main road. You're trying to avoid the checkpoints, the Rinaldi checkpoints, and you're trying to keep low profiles as you make your way to Eloge. So normally a trip that would be like a 3-day journey ends up taking you closer to a week. We'll say, we'll say it's a 6-day journey as you pick your way around through the wilderness, over the farmland and plains. But eventually you all make it back there. Some of you have been wounded in the escape. Some of you were out of all your resources. But you post back up at Eloge. And you have with you, let's not forget, these Frederick and the escaped convicts who are, they're quite grateful to you. And when there's a free moment, Frederick will say to Connor, my dear knight, I'd never imagined that you would come to our rescue. I must admit I was quite consigned to my fate there. What is it that compelled you to do something so dangerous, to put yourselves at risk for the likes of us?
I believe in your cause.
Well,
and any enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well, I owe my life to you, as do we all, as does anyone who considers themselves a child of the Shade. We have much to repay you. However, we also have much work still to be done. I fear that our only hope rests in the Rothos Mountains, and unfortunately, although I do what I can to lead this band of rebels, I am not one suited to resisting torture. Even now, our enemies are attempting to interfere in our plans, and now that we have escaped, I imagine they will redouble their efforts. So, if I hope you can accept my gratitude for now as the only thing I can offer, because time is wasting, and we will repay you one day for your kindness. I promise. This I swear. On the name of the true king.
Connor will pound his chest in the name of the true king.
All right. With that, he's going to turn to his companions, and they're going to negotiate themselves some real clothes so they don't look like prisoners, and take their leave of you at.
Well, that's at least one loose end wrapped up. So let's see. So given all of this, I suppose our next step is in fact to perhaps return to Felon territory. But our journey there has now got increasingly more complicated.
Quite.
We could always maybe try to find a boat heading, say, to Port Spar and circumvent all of these problems.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
yes. Take to the high seas.
But such things, of course, are complicated. If we went all the way back to Fermarouge, which is Sir Connor's hometown, it is in fact a port city of some size. There could be a boat there waiting. There's also the possibility we could maybe hitch onto one in Chalon-sur-Saldre, but we're also entirely out of money. I think, well, I am anyway, and so is Sir Connor. Our only chance of finding passage would literally be to incidentally find one of them on their way in that direction, and also work ourselves to death on the whole way.
well.
Doesn't sound great.
I would suggest stopping before the death part.
I would recommend that as well. I think it would actually be very good. What do you think for our next objective then?
Wow, I'm filled with a mix of complicated emotions.
Can check what our current outstanding goals are.
That's true. They're currently recover the sword from the goblins, which is what we're trying to do, and help Sicario amend. Yeah.
That's right.
Which we didn't have, an idea last time, so we let it hang, and we had the fight today, so... Maybe he'll give us more impressions about what to do. It's like, yes, we need to go to Triskellion.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We need to head back into the lion's den.
Right. But you did good work today, Anushka. You finally took the blow to De La Vega.
Did I?
He will no more harm innocent villages. He shall no more use his iron-fisted duplicity to harm others.
I don't know.
There is more light in the world now without him than there was before.
So weird hearing this coming from.
There are few instances where I would say that violence is truly justified for all people to have a right to life, but he has taken so many.
Julia Nuska has done an act worthy of the light, of the martyr herself.
It will not, perhaps, it does not redress the injustices he's left behind, nor is it necessarily the end of men like him, nor their causes for war and strife. But it is at least one small step to closing older wounds.
Okay.
It's like, okay.
And perhaps, and
I'll
he'll
feel
just go
better.
ahead and pat your shoulder, perhaps this Gaston can finally rest in peace, whoever he was.
Whoever he was. Yeah, it's the ultimate irony. It's like, you don't even know who that guy was.
I've only heard you constantly shout his name for the injustices brought upon him. Hopefully now his spirit is at ease.
Hopefully.
And
Wherever he
perhaps
is.
yours as well.
Justice for Gaston.
But at what
Bird
price?
justice.
At the cost of a soul.
Yeah. The blood. I mean, now that I've done it, I don't feel anything. I mean, it didn't bring him back.
It is true. As I said before, it will not, and the injustices are still laid bare, unhealed.
Well, maybe we should talk to the Children of the Shade people to see what they actually believe in.
You could. You have an opportunity.
Because, yeah, I mean, abolishing the monarch, it I mean, I could get behind that. No offense to the entire noble assemblage that is here.
Right. Perhaps they might have guidance upon how these injustices can be addressed. Maybe they have some plan for the future, or some equal nation of peoples. Who knows? It could be something crazy like that.
Yeah. Well, right. What? It's like end of Game of Thrones where they're like, "Hey, I've got an idea. How about we elect our presidents?" And it's just like, okay,
yes,
sure.
after Game of Thrones, the
After all of
literal
Game of Thrones,
behind all the nobility, all the people who have hierarchy and power, and they just go, let's do a democracy. It's like, no, that's
sounds
not
good.
how it works.
That's what we were. That's
Yeah.
what we were getting at with the whole zombie fight. It was punishment for our monarchy. That's for a lack of democracy.
Dang, we got rid of our zombie fight.
The dragon melted the throne. So ultimately, trying to tell us a message. I have just spoiled the end of Game of Thrones now too. Sorry, everybody.
You haven't spoiled anything because it still sounds like complete nonsense, and I'll still never watch it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yes, if you talk to them, the Frederick, he says, "Well, naturally, I have put my mind to the question of rebuilding. Though, to be honest, most of our efforts currently have been focused on bringing down the false monarch and reinstating the true bloodline. To that end, we have been searching the land for potential heirs to the throne. We do believe that at least one of them still lives, although his location has been a mystery to us. We did think for a moment that your poor Mercurio was that individual. Unfortunately, it seems that has not borne any fruit. Mercurio has disappeared.
What?
Well, I mean, he did. You guys are privy to this. They had him in captivity, like they had him hostage, basically, because some of their members didn't really trust that he wasn't trying to get one over on them. And he escaped, and then you guys chased him down, did the test with the sword, and then you disappeared as well. So as far as they know, he was a charlatan who just ran away.
It's just a mystery what happened to him, honestly.
Right. But they figure that any true heir wouldn't have run, would have stayed and undergone the test. So now they say that, like, well, unfortunately, sword, because you guys had it and lost it, but that they have heard rumors that an heir still lives, and that has been cited in the court of member of the Doloro aristocracy. We had this information, certain eyewitness accounts. We were preparing to send agents in to uncover the truth of this.
Connor just got this look at his face like, I fucking knew it.
He says, unfortunately now, the Rinaldi throne, or the Jakoba throne, are aware of our intelligence. As I said, I did not hold my tongue well during interrogation. They have employed a sadistic witch. She knows no mercy in her. He holds up his wing, which has been sadly crippled. It's unlikely that he will ever fly again.
If only someone had healing magic around here.
That's right. Right.
Well, we'll keep the story going.
We'll see.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
Actually, healing maimed injuries is even more difficult.
Right.
Okay. Well, in any case, he says that she got all that I knew out. It was that albino jackal dispatched her north to investigate. If they find the heir before we do, sadly, I imagine they will put him to death or something worse. Which is why we must make haste. We have no time.
What exactly is your trajectory here?
He says, well,
Where are you
first we
going?
must make contact with the rest of our members, right? You'll recall that they have a hideout in the Devil's Barrow, which I believe is east of Lake Alb.
Yeah, it was in that little crook right there, little niche.
Right. So they are going to head there. or perhaps just send a message there. But basically, they're going to try to rally as many of their members as they can, and then they're going to do a multi-pronged approach into Doloro territory, which you guys know firsthand. It's not the easiest to like move around there these days, especially not only because of the winter weather, but also because of the war. You guys just got out of there with your skins intact, barely. And so what they're planning to do is send several dispatches. All of them are going to approach, and hopefully at least one of them will make it to to White Ridge, which is where they were headed.
Let's see, and where is... Oh, right, that was the area we were before.
Right, you'll remember White Ridge is essentially at Mount Grimmart on the map.
Right, so something maybe like this.
Yeah. Of course, they're going to send multiple people, so they might send some back through via Salutis, and unfortunately, there's really like no other good ways because of the wall here. But yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, like my suggested path is like something like this for us.
Mm-hmm.
I assume like nobody like goes through like this little strait here, like around the swampy territory. Though it would put us around the Isle of Aldrich, which hey, Kara, you actually are from there.
He knows people.
That's well.
It could be possible you could even get us a boat there, and that's at least half the journey.
So, it's possible. I have to imagine that there is traffic, like water traffic. Like at the scale that this map is at, even though it looks like a tiny channel, it's bigger than...
Tiny? If it's big enough to be on the map, it's huge.
Right, like
right.
These
I don't mean that
rivers
it's tiny.
huge,
I just mean that it looks like it is probably dangerous areas to navigate.
Okay, I could see that, but
like it might be shallow. Like there's clearly swampy territory on the left-hand side of it.
Yeah, like which channel are we talking about?
Like over here. Yeah, where that's like white boxes.
I don't. Oh, there we are. Oh yeah, no, that's definitely. This is definitely deeper than this because this is a swamp delta. So this is navigable, but probably only by shallow bottom boats. So
yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Not your big cargo boats. No. So yeah, so people are going up and down this, but I mean, yeah, you could probably get your bigger boats through it, but be careful. Also, it's constantly shifting because delta, so new stuff's building up all the time.
A thought does strike me. We could always land in this territory, deal with this bit of necromancy, and then just hook up back to the road again.
Yeah, the huge problem with landfall is like this is cliffs, and then this turns into swamp. This here is probably just shallow. Like, hey, someone's been reading Book of Corals, so someone's been reading up on like how to dock boats.
Yeah.
And so one of the bigger problems is, the waters doesn't usually fall off unless it's a harbor. So usually any boat that's of any reasonable size has a draft that you'd actually have to like stop and get out.
Yeah.
So
this is what rowboats are for.
Yeah.
Dispatches.
They would anchor in the harbor and then send rowboats into the
which
shoreline.
means you take a small boat in the first place, or you take a really big boat that carries a smaller boat. Yeah,
right.
So it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, because this is huge traffic here. It wouldn't be that hard to get a big boat from here and get them to drop us off here, or in theory even we'd have to go over the Lachlan Mountains if we dropped off over here.
Right. Basically, just getting on the road at the edge of Triskellion territory is probably good enough.
Yeah, and actually, this is the Skirfane here, which means we may actually be able to charter a smaller boat once we get there. If we've got, I mean, by then, we're in Averdapaw domain. We should be able to make those arrangements. People might be asking, why do you want to go in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, that could be a fair question, honestly.
And honestly, the problem is that, and it's also a question whether that's Bistelve domain or Rinaldi domain, because I don't know.
They probably don't agree either.
Mhm.
Well, that's why we say we're neutral.
All right. So, I believe now we have a plan that covers half the map. What do you guys think? What's everyone else got an input for this? What does Gar think?
Abolishing evil would make me feel better.
I would feel a lot better too.
I mean, I've got a lot to answer for. So I would be in favor of the plan of going there and abolishing some evil, because I've got stuff to... I'm going to have a lot of time to think about what it is that I've done. So yeah, I'm in favor of abolishing evil.
Sir Connor, what do you think?
I was going to suggest us abolish some evil.
What do you think about either setting sail from like Chalon sur Saldre or Fair Marouge?
Fair Marouge would be better for me because then I can just collect a new set of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only quote-unquote trappings type thing I had was the armor.
Right, so we could take an extended journey. We do at least have the cart. We get to Fair Marouge. That's maybe a week, maybe less with the cart.
Yeah, at this point you're in Avoirdupois territory, so no one is trying to stop you or kill you. Just the normal footpads and bandits. But
yeah,
along the roads you'll probably be fine.
Right, and then of course the extended sea journey here is quite many leagues.
Right, what's the leagues per day on a boat?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it's at least 3.
Let's take a look. I can actually go to that section. Let's scroll on down. Let's check what the base book says about boats. Let's see. What type of boat would it be? Let's say it's a mid-berth sea vessel.
Oh god, I forgot we had all 3 levels.
Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't give like a speed. It gives like a rent. So, which would cost like a denarii a league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most other transports would be that.
Like, I honestly don't know what the speed of a ship is compared to the speed of like a land vehicle in the real world. So I would say like, oh yeah,
slower.
Well,
2 a day, but
yeah, usually it's the general rule we used in the book was you can go 1 league a day. And if you were on a boat, you'd have 3 shifts, so you could go 3 leagues a day. It could possibly be faster.
So it would be the same, generally abstracted, the same rate of travel. It's just that you are traveling nonstop because you don't have to worry about resting.
Usually 3 leagues a day, but obviously that I'm actually in the process of doing.
Yeah.
It still definitely looks like at least a month to get to at least this far.
Yeah. If I'm doing the math right, let's see you measure it again. But like 50 to 130? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even cutting corners as close as possible and stuff, but it is positively a long journey.
It's a little over a month. It's like a month and a week. So that'd be a long journey, but you could make it.
And we could use our vehicle dice. Everyone completely unenthused by the prospect.
Hooray! I mean, you worked hard for those vehicle dice, so
I have a healing gift, so I've kept that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, there you go. So you're pretty fit and ready for it.
Guys, if the wind is with us, you can actually go about like 60 leagues a day. Which means if you had ideal winds and everything was perfect, you could do 10 squares in a single 24 hours.
Right. So we could get there in anywhere between 2 days to over a month.
It could be, yeah.
Depending.
I love how to phrase that. 2 days to a month. Welcome to the Middle Ages.
I remember, like, a description of, like, early America, where it's like, well, you could either take a cart and a horse up north, on your journey, or you could take a boat. Taking the ride takes maybe like about a week. Taking the boat takes about 2 months.
Yeah. So it could be. I usually ballpark at about 3 because once again, yeah, ideal wins. It could be perfect. Unideal wins. Yeah. I don't know. It's a question. If you assume 3, we're fine. Plus, also, we'd be on a boat that has other things to do than drop us off.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be that even though they would be traveling at an ideal speed, they would be stopping at other places to pick up people and drop them off.
Right. If it's actually just heading to Triskellion, then we just drop off there and then go our own way.
We didn't detail everything on the map because we wanted to give GMs permission to put new stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, I would think it would be about a week or 2 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, if we just chartered the boat, we can do whatever the hell we wanted.
Yeah, if only I still had money. I'll miss it.
Well, the boats start around 10,000. So
around 10,000, I could have had 1/50th of a share.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, Connor's house could sponsor. Well, but we'd have to get into that. Yeah. No, I think we should probably just charter the boat, which we can do because we are friends with the Avertibois.
I love this arrow just because I think you've mapped literally every route that is possible to take to get where we're going.
Well, we could just go overland through Triskellion domain.
Right.
There would be a warrant for Connor's arrest, as well as some Batwoman who shouted her name before shouting Six Semper Tyrannis and attacking Delavig. What is Delavig's official title anyway?
It was Captain of the Royal Guard.
So we killed the Captain of the Royal Guard. So this is just light treason.
Yeah.
It's not like he was in line for.
No, he wasn't actually a blooded noble. I think he was like...
What? He was a commoner the whole time?
Yeah. he was skilled.
Barely treason.
Barely treason, yeah.
If only it happened to someone important.
I imagine the lines of station are sort of blurred in Triskellion, a place where the merchant class has sort of taken over and people are more and more...
right, you would have the Nueva Rich who have bought their way into some sort of title, but are the old nobility and they hate them.
It's starting to boil over because you've got the commoners who have more money than the lords. And, the lords still have title because the laws give them special exemption. But in theory, the lords are supposed to, own the land. The fact that they don't is, really just makes Triskellion a powder keg for revolution. Because nobles might say, technically, by blood, I own all this stuff. So I'm just going to march in and take it. There's going to be a bunch of commoners who say, yeah, that's nice.
That's nice, but we can buy our own guns.
Yeah, but we can do this. And meanwhile, the neighbors of the Bispo and the Avertibois says, I can't help but notice you're having internecine conflict.
Yeah.
We'd like to help ourselves to your city.
Cool. Okay. Well.
So I'm in favor of abolishing evil. I'm not sure what's on Gar's mind.
I just don't want to go home.
You want to go home?
I don't.
He doesn't want to.
Oh,
he doesn't want to go back to Aldrich.
We at least don't have to stop there.
No, I don't want to go to Aldrich. I don't hail from Triskellion.
Wait, is Aldrich? Yeah, Aldrich is your home, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't want to go there.
Oh, are you not welcome there?
No, I just didn't leave for no reason.
Right. Well, fortunately, we don't have to stop there. We can just sail on by and around it.
Well, we might make stops at Aldrich because it is a popular place.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we'll just keep that to a minimum then. I mean, sure. You're not wanted for any obvious crimes.
Right.
Not yet.
No, he has kept his hands clean of this whole debacle.
Right, so you're fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. I'm sure nobody's looking for you, right?
No.
There we go.
Okay. So, sounds like we have a tentative plan. I'll just say it out loud, so if I'm wrong or if anyone has any input, now's the time to speak your piece. But it sounds like you guys are going to travel from Eloge through Chalon to Ferme-Rouge, where you will resupply and charter a vessel that will take you south around the whole of Calabria, the Isle of Ick, and then up north to this sort of disputed territory between the Bisclavret and Rinaldi
Fight
regions.
evil.
In order to fight evil, and from there travel north, meeting up with the Via Salutis, and then making your way further towards the Phalon lands, where you will try to find passage into the Goblin territories.
That sounds right.
While all of this is happening, the Children of the Shade will be marching their way into the Rothos Mountains from the through in an attempt to recover someone they believe to be the last surviving heir of the Rinaldi throne. And
Can't believe we lost Mercurio.
Mercurio has joined up with a band of map makers outside of Shalon, I think, outside of Soldra, and is just
Well, I suppose it's
making his
not
fortunes.
Yeah, it's not my agency to collect him right now. Let's go abolish some evil. I would feel better if we abolished some evil.
Sounds good. Okay, cool.
That's
So-
the spirit.
In that case, and with that plan in mind, let's start our debrief. We'll do first. Let's just talk about the goals, because I think you guys did complete goal 2 day.
Yes, we did.
You did save Frederick the Owl from execution.
Federico from execution.
Okay. I have here Insider at Three Corners Fort. That might
sounds
not
good.
exactly apply, though, because you guys are...
Insider doesn't mean you're a friend. Insider means you know a lot about it.
You know a lot about it. You might have contacts in it, so then maybe it will apply. I feel I must have already offered you guys in the Children of the Shade, right?
Yeah, I think I sold mine back.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe like a while ago.
right a while ago. I want to try to avoid all times if I can.
Oh,
we'll say Insider at Three
saving
Corners.
since Federico is their big thing. Yeah, Insider with the Children of the Shade makes more sense because we help them out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and usually that's the standard reward, getting an
Right.
insider with people you just helped.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, ultimately, it's just another opportunity for you guys to get more experience points. So I guess we'll stick
Yeah.
with that.
Right.
And I guess it wasn't technically a goal we had down, but we did finally kill De La Vega.
It was not a goal. It was
That's
just something
true.
I wanted to do.
I'll offer you guys a chapter experience point for that.
Oh, okay. I won't say
And
no
it's
to
kind
that.
of impromptu, but we should mark the occasion somehow.
Mhm.
So take a bonus.
It seemed like an important story bit to cover. We finally have closure on that from the
It
beginning.
took so long, and by now, every relic I have of Gaston, I can't even see Gaston's face anymore.
I know.
I can't be depressing though, because I'm playing Anushka. Anushka's not a depressed character.
Well, you know, characters have to be
You
given
just
the
need
leeway
to bounce back
grow
and go, yes,
things.
like, yes, I stopped evil, and I'll stop more of it now.
Get some closure on it. Yeah, have my little
Yeah.
friendship is magic moment.
Right. So, yeah, you guys squarely enemies of the current monarchy. Let me see. So we did that. Helps. So we still have this kind of floating one here with Sicario's sins. Still looking to recover the Rinaldi sword.
I guess
I
we
would-
are intentionally going to fight evil.
Yeah, since we're down to 2 gifts, let's add one for I'm just gonna say thwarting the necromancer's plot.
Or the necromancer's plot. Bam. There we go.
Since you're fairly sure there's a necromancer here, we'll throw that on. Okay.
So that's our new goal.
Yes, thwarting the necromancer's plot. All right, and with that, let's go through and do the debrief. Everyone gets an experience point for playing the game and an experience point for role-playing their characters in ways that are consistent and believable. So that's 2 XP, a 3rd experience point to commemorate the death of De La Vega, a bastard.
Yep.
With a black heart. And we'll go down the line. So, Theta, remind us of Gar's motto.
My strength and guile.
Okay. And yeah, if you have... it sounds like you were disappointed by the way the battle was set up and executed. So I want to apologize for that. There was... I think that what I was trying to do earlier is set up... And I basically just said multiple times, like, this is a bad plan, this is going to be dangerous. I tried to give, like, an outline of the fort's defenses, the gates and everything. But I think I didn't effectively relay that all of the dangers and all of the planning that would need to go down for the combat happened, and we just sort of stumbled into the combat instead. So for that, I apologize, but I'm curious to hear your...
I think when I'm the only one with a problem, then it's clearly my imagination that's the source of my own frustration. Because, like I said, my thought process was it's a military fort, right? Every time we've dealt with it, it's always been go around it, don't go through it. Every time we go through it, it's a problem. It's so locked down that to negotiate for 1 shot's worth of gunpowder was a big deal. They've got everything unlocked there. I assumed that it's full of trained soldiers, and they aren't wandering into a fight 3 at a time. They're going to wander in 20, 30 guys at once, and they're going to respond to gunfire the way that the book says, oh, everyone's going to hear a gunshot going off. This is going to be the thing. So I expected, like, we get in there, it's going to be like, we take the shot and we go. Because, again, I think another problem that we had here is that we treated it like a Blades in the Dark. We made a plan, we all just assume we made the plan, and we're just going to flow with that, instead of making an actual plan and working with it, so...
Well, I mean, I want to ask, like, you keep saying 20 at a time. It's like, did you think, like, there would be a doorway and 20 guards would spill out of it all at once?
Well, again, it's a big thing that's happening, and they've got nobles in the crowd and everything like that, so I assumed that there was guards present or soldiers present that weren't just on the map.
Well,
local. Also, I assumed that soldiers are stationed in garrisons, so when I say 20 at a time, I mean like a garrison would show up.
Well, right. Well, see, this is where I have questions. It sounds like everything you say happened in a qualitative state. It's just you're saying the quantities didn't match.
When I'm saying 20 guys, I'm saying a large number of guys. Let me just erase the numbers. I assumed a large number of guys would appear at once. Not
because from my perspective, there were a large number of guys.
Yeah, those are the guys on the scene already. I'm talking about the people responding to the crowd freaking out and gunshot going off.
I mean, literally 30 seconds later, 9 new people showed up on the map.
Yeah, like I'm saying, the trickle-in thing.
Yeah.
I thought this place was stationed with soldiers in, like, garrisons.
Well,
and...
right, and this is where you and I are disagreeing, because I said, okay, 30 seconds later, 9 new soldiers showed up, and you're saying, that's too low, it should have been more. Yeah. Right?
Sure, but like I said before, what I even started with is that clearly the problem was me, because my imagination didn't line up and 3 other players' imaginations did, so...
Okay, but I take responsibility for that too, because I think that you're right, Theta. When I was imagining this encounter, I was trying to think through it in a way that was realistic, in a way that would be like, and honestly, I did have that impulse to be like, oh, there'll be like regiments, units, battalions of these dudes. And then I shied away from that because I am afraid of overcomplicating things, and I'm also afraid of the no-win scenario. As a GM, I'm always afraid to be like, I shy away from... I'm trying to be better about the simulation aspect of it, because I know you guys, that's how you like to play.
Well, and also, I'm sympathetic to the idea that, like, you didn't want to overcomplicate, and you do want to cheerlead the players, and so I'm sympathetic to all of that. That has a problem with a little breakdown where, first of all, we kick ass. I mean, we're a high-level character. And so one of the problems with, one of the problems that can subside with lowballing it is, like Theta's like this and I'm like this. I have come with a whole horde of things and I am ready to unleash. And I don't use them all the time. So I have stuff I haven't even begun to tap yet. And I will use it to overcome. And that can surprise some game masters because they're going, well, I don't want to be too mean to the player characters. I don't want to like overwhelm them. And I, as a player character, go, no, I'm going to hammer these guys. I have been waiting for this forever, and I'm going to hammer it really hard. Yeah. So, the other thing is, this always makes me rethink a couple things. The game's not supposed to be that complicated. I'm biased because I'm used to certain games. Mm-hmm. It's not that difficult. There are provisions in the game for dropping 20 or 30 guys on the map and making them go pretty quickly. But I do understand that like a lot that can be overwhelming for a lot of game masters and go, well, I don't want to control that many guys, so I'll just put less on the field. And then you have the problem where the game's designed to deal with that. That's a huge problem I have with like Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons, you're supposed to be able to fight 20 or 30 kobolds or whatever, but GMs don't want to do that.
Right.
And
yeah.
So, there could have been a lot more guards. And also a question of, you did respond to it by making them very well-equipped guards, which I do appreciate, that they were elites armed with expensive gear.
Yeah, I tried to be thematic about it.
Well, that's a good way if you want to upgrade the threat without upgrading the complexity. Right. And I think having guards show up on the map, like having 9 guys show up in 30 seconds did not seem unreasonable to me. And I was expecting a lot more are going to be coming the longer we stay on this map. So, De La Vega almost got away. And if I hadn't been rolling as well as I would have, he would have gotten away.
It was a close thing. But there's also things to take into consideration. Like, Adger's basically sat out this whole session, and it's not because he wasn't playing well, it's because he was trying to play realistically and play to his strengths, And that's something that I think you see in almost all tabletop role-playing games, is this hard division between like combat, in combat and out of combat characters. We kind of had the other side of things with Harmon, because Harmon was a character who could smoke anyone you put against him, but then in out of combat situations did not have a whole lot to contribute. And now we're seeing kind of the opposite side of it. So
I think I'm kind of a mixed mind of this, because I felt like we didn't work.
I'm an enemy of my own making, as what I think happened. What should have happened is I should have asked out of character questions and done stuff based on that instead of assuming the situation. And also, I thought I did.
I'm sympathetic to how Gar, says, well, I want to get out of here with the least amount of pain to me possible. But there's also the question of your goal is also to rescue Frederica. You had the goal.
Yeah, and I had brought the guys to do the thing with the rest of you.
Right.
But at the same time, goals are optional. I don't have to do the goal.
Well, in theory, if you're not doing the goal, you're not reaping the rewards of the goal. That's
right. Well, same way that Harmon got offered the goal for the rest of the party got offered the goal to destroy the Lutheric Grove, and you opted not to do it. Goals are optional.
Yeah.
So are you not taking the reward?
I did take place. I went there. I brought guys, and they attacked the people on the field. I'm
I
saying
think in this
that
case it would feel punitive.
My irregulars would have stayed longer had they, like me, known that the situation was going to take a lot longer and that you guys weren't going to grab Federico and run.
My goal was to kill De La Vega,
which was a personal, not a mechanical goal.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
But what I'm saying is I thought you were going to take the shot and we were going to run because I imagined that the situation was a lot worse than what it was.
I should have made it extremely clear to you that one shot was not going to kill De La Vega. I knew it wasn't going to kill him.
Right, but that's the whole thing last session where I said I can only get you one shot. You're going to have to make it count, and I kept repeating that even to this session.
Well, see, that's one of the problem is, I did make it count. I exhausted his toughness, and then I took him to the blade and took him down. We're having different definitions of what make it count means. It wasn't.
And we didn't actually discuss a plan, which is what I'm also bringing up.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to take one shot and then leave. I knew I was going to have to go toe to toe with
No. I assumed that you would take a shot and then make me one more or another like that. But that's why I kept bringing up, oh god, people are going to come after us, guys. And then after like an hour, it's like, well, I guess maybe this isn't the fort that I imagined it was.
I mean, that fight took 5 to 6 turns, I think, total, right?
Yeah.
In terms of actions. We progressed up to the stand, freed the prisoners, and then left. And Anushka personally just chased after De La Vega, and that all happened within the same time.
Into a fresh mob of guards. I mean,
in a minimum amount of time, we did accomplish our objective and then leave. We didn't tarry long.
Yeah, I know.
Also, you just used the word tarry in normal conversation.
That's right.
I think, Gar, I think, was imagining a threat a lot more overwhelming. I thought the threat seemed realistic to me. I mean, come on, this is the era before Minutemen. And a Minuteman is someone who's ready to fight in a minute.
In a minute, that's where that comes from.
So, I know it's a garrison, but I mean, these are
I'm
different
not even saying ready to fight in a minute. I'm saying that there was a lot of people around that were already armed.
Yeah,
right.
And prepared.
There should have been armed guards.
Right.
No, I mean, not that. The guys on the walls, people in the garrisons, everybody
people
around.
Who were,
and I assumed that the nobles would have had their own protection as well.
Yeah, it was a politically charged situation where a riot could have broken out. It would make sense that there would have been more guards in the vicinity. And I think modeling that fell to me, and I kind of dropped the ball because I already felt like I had my hands full with the guys that were
modeling that would have been too much for you.
Yeah, and
or anyone, honestly.
While it might have been slightly romanticized, I felt the response was appropriate. I mean, there were guys there. There were 10 people all shooting at me. So, with no range penalties, which, I didn't argue about. I think,
You still got away with it.
I mean, they don't all have a hive mind. They don't have radios and stuff like that. So,
right, yeah.
It's
basically how many people are you within line of sight of as you're taking off.
Yeah, it takes time to respond. They weren't tipped off. I mean, that's the other thing I always want to point out is the discipline as well. No one here was tipped off to an assassination plot or believed anything. This is some random guy from some random cult. De La Vega's here with his men. Okay, we put some guys on this, and we have some guys on duty here, but we also have people guarding the armory and the slave markets and that kind of stuff.
We were told about the guys on the wall before as a reminder, and there was guys on the wall, so they would have seen you, and they could pass the message along faster, but also anybody in range of hearing a gunshot, and then the magic thing going off, which was
they did.
Loud.
And they did shoot at us.
Yeah, but I'm also saying
okay, but once again, yeah, I mean, these are different levels. I mean, Gar sounds like he would. Theta sounds like he would have been happier if there were more people showing up faster.
I would have been happier if I'd imagined the situation properly and was able to play with you instead of sitting out. Because I imagine my regret doesn't come from, hey, God, I wish y'all had died there under a swarm of soldiers. It was, I wish I had been able to play with you guys because I imagined the situation was going to be worse and ran away.
Yeah, and I apologize because I should have taken more control over that situation. I had kind of fallen in love with my game prep. I had prepped this big, fight scene, and I was more than willing to let it play out, even though it was clear that it was the party who had divided very early.
Well, I would have felt disappointed if you would just if I had taken my shot, Della Vega would have lived, and then you'd say, "Well, this fight's over now."
Gotcha. Well, in any case, I'm glad that some people had fun. I'm sorry that some people got shafted by the way these things turned out, and I apologize for my part in it. But no, try to figure it out.
I appreciate. Sometimes this kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
I think Data's more pissed himself than you, but
yeah, but ultimately,
it is still a learning experience for all of us, even those of us who only plan to GM later.
Yeah, ultimately, I'll try to take responsibility when I can for stuff that I could have done better. That's what I think the debriefings are for, is letting people get this kind of stuff off their chest and having an open forum.
A level of communication where we're all on the same page again.
Right. I think next time, if this exact scene happened again later on in our campaign, I would make sure to provision it such that I say, like, this fight is going to have a cap. You guys are going to have 2 rounds before you're completely surrounded, and that way we understand what the timing is, what's at stake, and you guys will all have a better idea of, what you want to do as a group, given that situation. But yeah. Anyway, if there's anything else, any other debriefing stuff we want to do, because we've gone over time.
That one guard is retiring.
That one guard is becoming a landowner. Gonna sell all of your loot and buy a nice plot of land right over here south of Ardent. Boom. Okay, cool. Well, if there's nothing else, then thank you guys for playing. I'm looking forward to next week. And do we have any stuff we want to shout out before we sign off?
Oh, shout out to almost getting killed by Star Magic. That was fun. Actually, surviving it was awesome.
You vaporized that chicken.
That could have gone so badly.
It could have gone like my attack did.
Right? Damn. Laser beam several dudes.
Well, I'm sitting on D12, 2D6 for dodge, so I'm good.
Yeah, but it ignores all armor and it rolls a crap ton of dice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing at Sunlaster. Okay, guys. Well, I gotta go, so I'm gonna say sayonara, and I'll see you guys next week.
See you next time, everybody.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you, everybody. Book of Corals real soon.